Good morning, Acton, and welcome to Java with John, hosted by Town Manager John Mangiaratti. Java with John streams every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on ActonTV's YouTube channel. You can also listen live on the radio at 94.9 FM. Tune in weekly for important information from the Town Manager, Health Department, and Council on Aging, as well as a variety of special guests. Residents can contact us with questions or comments at 978-929-6611 or email manager@actonma.gov.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Java with John program. It's May 7th. Hopefully you're listening on 94.9 FM, or maybe you're watching live on YouTube streaming, or maybe you're catching us on ActonTV. Either way, it's great to see you here. I'll be joined this morning by Sharon Mercurio, our Council on Aging Director, Sheryl Ball, our Public Health Director, Cathy Fochtman, a former employee, former rec director. Now she's the part of the Friends of the Arboretum and a big part of the Garden Club. And Vivian Kobusingye Birchall, who works at ActonTV. She started there earlier this year, and she's doing all kinds of exciting things there. And she's going to tell us about some of those. So before we get to that, I can just give a few updates. I'm very pleased to announce that we've had the building open this week, multiple buildings in town. The public has been coming back, and it's been great to see everyone. It's been done safely. We have stanchions set up in the building to keep people 6 feet away from each other, and we have an outdoor seating if anybody wants to meet with staff outside. Thanks to Cathy Fochtman and actually Tom Tidman for putting out some planters out there to warm that space up. The things that are happening here leading up to town meeting are in full effect. Zoning articles are being discussed by the planning board. The select board is looking at about 39 articles, I believe, on the upcoming draft warrant. And the board will get its first look at taking positions on that warrant on May 24th. So tune into that meeting. The Finance Committee, the CPC, and all the other things that happen leading up to town meeting are happening right now. So I hope you're paying attention. And if you have any questions about any of the projects or programs or budgets, please feel free to reach out to my office. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. On the screen, we're going to show right now actually instructions for people. So on YouTube Live, if you're watching it there, you can put closed captioning on. And you can actually put closed captioning on in multiple languages. So on the screen right now, we're showing you exactly how to do it. This is a step-by-step process. So if anybody's interested in using closed captions in any language, this is how you do it.
Did you know that you can actually turn on captions for different languages? So here we are on YouTube. We're at the ActonTV YouTube page, and just scrolling down, and here's all of our videos. I'm just going to click a random video, Finance Committee meeting. So you can see the meeting is playing, and if you click down here on the closed caption button, once you click on it, you'll see that the captions will start to appear. They're generated automatically by YouTube, so you can read those in English. Now, if you click over here on this gear, the settings gear, and then once you're in this window and you click on the subtitles, it says English auto-generated right now. But now, once I click on it, I have an option for auto-translate. And you can see, once I click on that, I have all these different languages that I can actually choose from. And there's dozens upon dozens of them. So I'm going to just click here on Japanese, for instance, and you'll see that the Japanese characters appear on the screen as your captions. I can go back into settings, and I can click back on the auto translate button again, and pick any other language. Let's go over to Chinese. And now we have Chinese. Now this is all done from a desktop machine. I don't believe it works the same way on a mobile device, but on a desktop you can see how easy it is to choose a language and have that video captioned in that specific language. It's pretty easy, and there you go.
Thank you, Mark, from ActonTV for laying out these steps for us. So, Sheryl, how are we doing from a public health standpoint? I think we're trending in the right direction. Am I right?
We are. We're in a downward trend. So we're thrilled that all of our residents and actually the entire state of Massachusetts is, abiding by the COVID safety protocols and helping us to continue getting these numbers down. So we're thrilled with that, and we hope it stays like that. So I am going to talk about a few things today. The Acton Board of Health definitely is encouraging all that are eligible to obtain a vaccine. By obtaining the vaccine, this also helps with keeping the cases down. Currently, those 16 and older are eligible, but in the coming weeks, we expect to see approval for those 12 years of age and older, which is also some great news. And if you have any reservations at all about obtaining the vaccine, we encourage you to contact your physician, and they can answer questions for you. And also the state announced yesterday that they're trying to make it easier for people to obtain vaccine that want the vaccine. So effective this coming Monday, you will be allowed to walk in to most state vaccination sites. And this is part of the state's plan to make it easier for everybody to obtain the vaccine. So again, some good news there. Reopening. So the state has also got a pretty expansive guideline for reopening. So one of our biggest questions that we have now are, as part of that reopening plan, the state identified that face coverings are no longer required when you're outdoors and can maintain at least 6 feet of separation between others. So I'm telling you this because you're going to find some exceptions to that. So some businesses and organizers may still require them for events that you go to, even outdoors. They're also required outdoors when you do strenuous activity. So we learned a lot in the last year, and knowing and having everyone continue to wear a vaccine will help us combat this virus, but it also helps combat other viruses. So, the flu, and, as we started to get into flu season, I'm jumping the gun there a little bit. I'm not trying to get to the fall, but it's just something you should consider wearing. So face coverings too are also required when you're indoors. So, and for any event, whether you're indoor or outdoor, you still need to wear a face covering. So that would be for an event. So what I was talking about previously is just like going for a walk outside. As long as you can maintain that 6 feet of separation, feel free to take your mask off. The state also has some sector-specific guidance that we expect to see in the next coming weeks. So there may be some like sports events or that still are going to require a face covering. So once we get that information from the state, and it's expected to come to us by Monday, we will get that out so the public can see, where we're at. But we get a lot of questions about the face coverings. So as part of the reopening plan for the state, as of May 10th, which is Monday, ballparks can now increase from 12% to 25%. Amusement parks can also open at 50% capacity, but they do have to submit a safety plan for approval. Singing will be allowed indoors at events, but there's really strict guidance that's going to need to be followed. So there needs to be 10 feet of separation between the performers, and then 25 feet separation between the performers and the audience. So that's something new as well. Then as of May 29th, our indoor gatherings at public venues are increasing from 100 to 200. Outdoor gatherings will increase from 150 to 250. We can have parades and festivals at 50%, and restaurants can now see parties of 10 or less. On August 1st, all restrictions and capacity limits are expected to be lifted. These timelines that I just talked about are all subject to public health and vaccination data trending in a positive direction. So we ask that you continue to follow the COVID safety practices to help us keep these numbers low and in advance with these reopenings. It's important for people to start to get back to normal, but we need to do so safely. And then one other thing, the Acton Health Division is having their biannual Household Hazardous Waste Day, and that's going to be held on Saturday, May 22nd at 14 Forest Road from 9 to 11:30 a.m. You can find out what to bring on the actonma.gov website on the health page, or you can call us at 978-929-6632 for more information. But a mailing will be going out to you this Friday. It will be going out to the entire town. So, wait for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to call us. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheryl. I have a question. What's the most popular item that people bring to Hazardous Waste Day?
Oh, a lot of people like to bring paint. And one thing that we've tried to educate our people on is, anything latex-based paint needs to be dried up and thrown away in your trash. Every year, no matter how detailed we are in our announcement, people like to bring the latex paint. It's not hazardous. So the only paint that we need are oil-based paint or some kind of acrylic. Some acrylics are deemed hazardous. So, we suggest if you have the latex paint to pop open the lid, let it dry, and then you can throw it away in your trash. Or there is a hardener you can buy at a hardware store. It's less than $2. You put it in your paint and it dries up pretty much instantaneously. And then if you have a cat, kitty litter is one of the best absorbers of liquid. So you can also add that.
Okay. Thank you. Glad I asked. Sharon, the doors opened at 30 Sudbury this week too. I know it's not the same as the senior center we want it to be, but what is going on over there this week and coming up?
Sure. Thanks, John. Yes, our building is open. People can come in and borrow books and puzzles, come in and say hello. We're not serving food inside or coffee or beverages or encouraging congregating at this time. But we are amping up our outdoor programs and continue to have a lot of virtual programs for you. So today, Friday, we have Words Galore at 11. We have a drive-through lunch at noon. So we're starting some outdoor programs, and because we need to limit numbers, we're having a lottery. So there's lotteries for the various exercise programs we're doing, and there's also a lottery for the virtual watercolor class. And those requests need to be in today. So by this afternoon, May 7th, if you're interested in exercise or watercolor, either email us or give us a call and we'll put your name on the list, and we'll let you know next week if you're in class or not. On Monday, we're going to have Walk the Neighborhood with Terry and our friends group at 1 o'clock. They're always looking for new members. They support all of our activities here. I don't have a line item in my budget for activities. It falls on the friends, and they've been fabulous. So if you're thinking of ways to support, maybe come to a meeting to see what you can do. Tuesday at 10 o'clock is the COA board meeting. And then at 1 o'clock, we're having a virtual tour of the House of the Seven Gables. On Wednesday at 1, we have a program called Frenemies, and it's Art World's Greatest Rivalries. And at 1:30, Computer Club. Thursday at 11, we have Laugh for Your Health. I think we all need that right now. And then at 1 o'clock, we have chess. Another reminder is that each year we celebrate all our 90-plus-year-olds, and it's amazing how many 90-year-olds and how many 100-year-olds we have in our community. This year we're doing it drive-through style, so you should have received your invitation in the mail. If you or you know somebody who's 90-plus and has not gotten an invitation, please let us know, and we'll make sure we include them. And then just to wrap it up, wanted to wish my mom and all the other moms out there a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Sharon. Why don't we go to Cathy Fochtman? How are you? What do you have to share with us this morning?
Thanks for having me on the program, John. I have a very special project I'd like to share with you today. It involves plants and trees and shrubs, and I think you're going to love to hear what it's all about. I'm both a member of the Acton Garden Club and the Friends of the Acton Arboretum. And we have a project that honors a past member, someone who we've lost several years ago. Her name is Joan Yateau. She was a valued member of both the Acton Garden Club and the Friends of the Acton Arboretum. And I have to say the admiration was mutual on both sides. When she passed, her family bequeathed sizable donations to both the Garden Club and the Friends of the Acton Arboretum. So wanting to honor Joan, and especially her love of horticulture, the two organizations came together And we put together a project. And since Joan's love was for naming plants or nomenclature, we thought that we could extend education to the community at large by coming up with a series of labels for some very popular town properties that include the Acton Arboretum, Meeting House Hill, which is located on Nagog Hill Road and Main Street, Nara Park, and also at the Acton Memorial Library. So what this involves is some hang tags and stakes that identify notable trees and shrubs at all of these properties. Here I've pictured a gorgeous copper beech tree, from afar, and then there's the label in front of it. The labels at the Arboretum are quite numerous. They number 346 individual labels for trees and shrubs. And at the library, we've identified all the foundation plantings in front of the library. At Meeting House Hill, we've got 32 of those, and at Nara, 176. In addition, we have garden signs that we've installed throughout both the Acton Arboretum and Meeting House Hill. I think these areas deserve some signage so that you know exactly what these places are when you come upon them as you walk these gardens. There are some fabulous gardens maintained by so many volunteers. So the project is funded by the Acton Garden Club. It's been implemented by a team of Garden Club members, by Arboretum volunteers, and knowledgeable consultants. So all of last year, this whole group got together, identifying trees and shrubs, verifying all the botanical and common names, and we documented most major shrubs and trees at all locations. So we encourage you to visit all of these town treasures to see all your favorite trees and shrubs. You may not have realized, what is that tree? What is that shrub? Could I grow that in my yard? We think it's a wonderful project to just let people know, what is available to grow here in Acton.
Cathy, that's a really cool project. 580 signs. Are they all out, or are you still working on it?
We're in the process of installing them. They're nearly all installed at the Arboretum. They're all installed at Meeting House Hill. By the way, I want to mention Meeting House Hill is kind of a hidden gem here in Acton. You can actually park outside of the Women's Club at 504 Main Street and walk to it. It's at the corner of Nagog Hill Road and Main Street. But go see it. It has both a wildflower garden and the beautiful hillside plantings that you see as you pass by going north on Main Street.
Well, thank you. And that's a very nice tribute to
our
Joan.
Friend Joan. Yes.
It's a very nice tribute. And it's something that I hope will stay up for a long time. And a lot of people learn what the different trees and plants are. And thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, the labels should last 25 years.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Cathy. So our next guest is Vivian. Vivian, you started at ActonTV about a few months ago, and you were very involved there beforehand. You're producing all kinds of shows. Which ones are you going to talk about this morning? And tell us first, introduce our viewers to you in case they haven't met you yet, and tell us about some of the stuff you're working on.
Thank you, John, and thank you for inviting me to your show. First, before I start, I'd like to first extend my condolences to the family and colleagues of the late Officer LaRoche. Deepest sympathies from myself and from ActonTV as well. My name is Vivian Kobusingye Birchall, and I am a producer, the production and outreach coordinator at ActonTV, but I'm also a producer of 3 shows. Acton in Focus, which is relatively new, Whitefield, and Africa to You. Acton in Focus, but it's just, like the name suggests, it's focusing on issues and stories about Acton. Whitefield is the more topical issues around our country and around the world. And Africa to You is specific to issues, Africa-US relations. So, but I've been focusing on Acton in Focus in the past few months because ActonTV in itself is a melting pot of cultures. It's a melting pot of diversity because everyone who can create a show can tell their story through ActonTV. And so it is very meaningful to me to be a part of this storytelling platform because it's through these stories that we can get to learn about one another and learn about our strengths as a community and figure out ways and paths forward to to continue building our community into a strong and sustainable town. So when we talk about Acton in Focus specifically, the purpose is to invite anyone who has a story about Acton, or if it could be the town, town government, it could be nonprofit organizations, individuals, students. We have we have a strategy to reach out to our youth who make up a big part of our population to engage in issues about our town and the town they live in and the town they love. Because when we look at our statistics of, the Acton statistics, we have about 26% foreign born. So which means there's a lot of stories to tell about all these people. And every one of these people, every one of us has strengths that we bring to this community. And also, some other interesting statistics are 51% approximately of Acton residents are female. So how, if we tell that story, it could be beneficial to people in policy decision-making places, and also politicians who are looking for votes. You can target your votes to the 51% women. But anyway, that's the purpose of this, of Acton in Focus. It's just to tell these stories about who we are as Acton and what we could possibly be. And so far we have about 26 episodes in the past 4 months, and we have collaborated with the town. We have Trail Through Town. It's a video coming up soon featuring Bettina Arbe of Natural Resources. We have a production about 53 River Street. And we've also had a video with Andrea Becerra, who is the Sustainability Director. So there is a lot going on, and we invite the community, the town government, to work with ActonTV to tell the stories happening both in government and in our communities. And we also want to extend the invitation to businesses because they have struggled through the pandemic. And this is an opportunity to tell the story of, and also work together to get out from where the businesses were, to rebuild and to grow stronger. So that's what, and also on the brighter side, all our staff, 100% are fully vaccinated. So that means that we can take care of all the shows. We can host you in the studio without so much fear of contracting COVID-19. Although, of course, we still have some limitations. You have to still wear masks, and we have a limitation of 10 people in the studio at any given time. And we'll be communicating any changes that we make through our social media platforms. So if there are any questions, that's about it.
Sounds like you've been very busy in your first 5 months. So you said 26 In Focus episodes already?
Yes.
What's the best one?
My recent one, which is I don't know what you mean by best, but the one with the most views is the Welcome to Acton, which I created last week. inspired by my reflection on the 5 years. So I just made 5 years on US mainland, which means I've had a few challenges, trying to integrate in this community and in this country. So I felt like through my experience, I could at least share a few tips to all new residents coming to Acton or to the United States.
Yeah, I watched that video. It was very informative. I really liked how you broke it down and provided your perspective on what it's like to move into a new town and how to access different things, and some pretty cool images of restaurants. Where'd you get all those?
Well, ActonTV is the best place to get all these things. So come join us, work with us more. And there is another one in the works just targeted to homeowners on what some of the few tips of what they can do, where they can go for building permits, where they can go for septic information on septic systems and assessors and all that information. So again, these are small projects that we could work together and collaborate with the town of Acton in addition to our own productions.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think you could also do a program on the names of trees and bushes. Now that we have signage all over town, you can do a little feature on all the different ones.
Absolutely. And we welcome Cathy and, all environmentalists out there and students who want to learn about the shrubs. Like our Sri is one of our guests, on Acton in Focus, and he's enthusiastic about nature. So we welcome everyone who would like to work with us to just continue raising awareness about our environment, our economy, and our diversity as Acton residents.
Well, thank you very much for everything you're doing over there. I guess we have a few extra minutes. Do any of our guests have questions for each other or for me? Anyone from the audience calling in? Sharon, yes.
I just had something else I wanted to remind folks about, that the St. Matthew's United Methodist Church next Saturday, May 15th, is going to be doing a gun buyback program. So no questions asked, no ID necessary. If you have unwanted firearms in your home, you're not quite sure what to do with, you can go to St. Matthew's Church between 9 and 12. You'll stay in your car. Your weapon will be unloaded and in your trunk. Somebody will remove it and you'll receive a gift card. And it's part of AB Care's project to have unwanted guns off the street to help reduce violence, suicide, domestic violence incidents. So any questions, give us a call. We can give you some more information.
Thank you. And if there aren't any other questions, I wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day, and we will see you again very soon.